Out to Nico Sumaga. I don't think that's how you pronounce that, but that's probably because no one's name's that long. He's my first subscriber or my second subscriber. I don't know. I only have 4, so it's really big deal. He asked for a shout out in the last video, and there you go to my favorite Spaniard of all time, including my own family, Nico Zumugaraga. Anyway, today we're talking about the title below the thing. All right, we're talking about the NBA Finals. We're talking about the Heat. We're talking about the Spurs rematch, first rematch since 97, 98, and 96, 97, Jazz, Bulls. Will the outcome be the same this time as it was then? The Jazz lost both times. The Bulls won both times. Teams are kind of similar. You can kind of make some comparisons. Best player at the time, Michael Jordan. Best player at the time right now is LeBron James. There are a lot of differences. There are 3 keys that the Heat need to have if they want to get a win. 3. Number 3 is the bench play. I think the bench play is probably the most crucial thing in this series. The bench of the Miami Heat does suffer at times, especially last year with the exclusion of Ray Allen. Obviously, the entire Heat bench played poorly. Here's Anderson, Shane Battier, Udonis Haslem, Norris Cole. They all played poorly against the Spurs last year. They just got fortunate enough that the Heat starters, which is actually the Heat's strength, is their starting lineup, played that much better. Especially if the Heat. If the Heat's bench can outscore the Spurs bench, they'll win that game. Whatever game that happens in, they'll win that game. 2. Number 2 is look for mismatches, and that's really for a couple of players. Most notably one. Okay, that's for LeBron James. LeBron James needs to look for mismatches. If he's on Kawhi Leonard, take him to the post. On Tim Duncan, take him outside. If you're on Boris Diaw, because they're going to mix and match. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, like I just mentioned, Tim Duncan, like I already mentioned. They will all be on him. They'll all match up. Maybe even Patty Mills, maybe even Danny Green will match up on LeBron James. He's got to see who he's got, and he's got to take them where they're uncomfortable, because I don't think there's a place in the half court where LeBron James can't score. He's got to look for mismatches and pass the ball from double teaming. And number 1. Yeah, and that's really kind of segues into number 1. Share the ball appropriately. And maybe that means LeBron ISOs 5 plays in a row. Maybe that means Wade ISOs 5 plays in a row. Maybe that means Bosh ISOs 5 plays in a row. Maybe that means no one ever ISOs. Maybe that means they're running cuts and screens. I don't know. But they have to find the delicate balance, because the Spurs find delicate balance better than anyone does in the league, but maybe even anybody in the history of the NBA. Okay? Alright, for the Spurs now, the Spurs are a little bit different. They need to shoot the 3 ball well. The Spurs, 3. They were number 3 in the league in opponents' 3-pointers made. What that tells me is they know how to defend the 3. Okay, they have Marco Bellinelli, they have Danny Green, they have Kawhi Leonard, Manu Ginobili, Matt Bonner, okay, Tony Parker maybe when he's feeling it. Alright, Patty Mills can shoot 3s when he plays. Okay, they have shooters. They have a barrage of shooters. But so do the Heat. He's got Ray Allen. He's got, Norris Cole and Mario Chalmers both turn a shooter. LeBron James, he's turned into a shooter. They have Shane Battier, Chris Bosh turned into a 3-point shooter. So they have a barrage of shooters as well. But if I had to say in a 3-point contest who would win, I'd pick the Spurs. So I think that's what the Spurs need to make. They need to make a 3-point contest. 2. And they need to get big. They need to get big because, listen, the Miami Heat, they were last in rebounds per game across the board. Okay, the Heat struggled getting rebounds. The Spurs have great bigs. I'm not gonna say good. I'm gonna say great because they are great. They are great bigs. Boris Diaw led the team in points, 36 in the last game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thiago Splitter, he's matured. You can better believe that man's been pumping some iron after he got embarrassed last year in the finals. And of course, the big fundamental Tim Duncan is still in the middle. They have a deep big man group and they have a great big man group. I remember Chris Anderson looked horrible last year in the NBA Finals. The only real big that the Heat looked like they had was LeBron James. And, LeBron James is great and all. And he's got to look for mismatches, like I said, on the perimeter. But in the paint, the Spurs need to own the paint. And number 1. The number 1 thing is if Tony Parker's unhealthy, and I remember someone said, it's a 5-game series, Tony Parker's not unhealthy. I wouldn't go that far, mostly because the position battle. All right, the Heat don't have anybody at point guard that's a big threat. Marlon Chalmers is a points per game kind of guy. He doesn't score a whole lot. You have Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Ray Allen. That's just scores, and they don't play point guard. And I don't think Tony Parker defensively would be that big of a problem. Offensively, he's the guy that gets the offense going. I think it's Heat in 7, maybe even 6 if Tony Parker's not healthy. But if Tony Parker is healthy, prediction? If you've been watching them go across the bottom of the screen, you know how I have the series going. Okay, so far, just to recap, Game 1 and Game 2, I think Game 1 will be a blowout personally in San Antonio's favor. I do, and I think Game 2 will not be that close either. I think the score will make it a lot closer because I think LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and company will make a push at the end. I see the road to the playoffs for the Heat was the yellow brick road, and the road to the playoffs for the Spurs, was the road that Dora never wants you to go down. You know what I mean? And that's just how rough it is. I think the Heat will definitely win the first one at home. And I don't think they'll win back-to-back games against the Spurs. So that's why I have the Spurs winning Game 4. Okay, desperation game at home. Heat won't get finished that way. But the Spurs remember, like Tim Duncan said, it's fresh in their brain. The Spurs remember how badly last year hurt when Ray Allen beat him and Tim Duncan missed the layup, yada, yada, yada. So Spurs, Game 6, 96-88. Spurs are your NBA champions.